Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. It is Audrey Lane at Just Be Audrey Lane. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you can be notified of when a video is posted. And remember, we're going to take over YouTube with the Just Be Ourselves. So, what is your name? And finding who you are with God. And trust me, He will tell you and show you because it's been a challenging week. And you guys know I always say that I love a challenge. I don't run from it now. I go forth. And it's difficult at times. I'll be sitting here lying to you to say that it wasn't or that it isn't. Um, but I love the fact that I keep on pressing and going forward. Like I was made and built to endure it. And it's hard at times. I would be lying to say that it's not. It is sometimes. It definitely is. But I definitely am going to continue doing it. I'm going to make sure that I keep on going forth. And it's mainly because I know the life that I lived at one point. And yes, don't get me wrong. It was, because I was saying to myself, like, you've done a lot of things. However, like, stop making it seem like you was some horrible bad person. Now, get this when I say it. I don't think that I was a horrible bad person, and that's not pride. That's me seeing that, girl, where I say I was bad, I am acknowledging the fact that I could have handled things different in my life. Like, I wish that I, in ways, would have made sure I stayed more focused on Audrey Lane and made sure that I progressed further when it came to, sharpening me and keeping myself, you know, um, more with schooling and more with, you know, working and more with, one, making sure I had my own in depth relationship with God then. But I am very blessed that I really do mean what I'm about to say. I don't like to hover or live in, oh, the shoulda, coulda, woulda of my past. I don't. I truly, everything that I went through in life, I thank God for it because it would, if it didn't happen, I don't think I would have got to this point. Like, I don't think that I would have gotten to a point of really wanting to work on myself and really build in God because you couldn't have told me that one, I didn't have what I thought was a relationship with him. It was like no real relationship, like that butterfly effect of I know you, but yet, like, I know that you had me because it says you had me in your word. You're going to keep me. You're going to be with me and all that stuff. And I thought that, I never read in depth of how I have to make sure I am being obedient and how you're going to, because it's so funny how you can open up the Bible and you read what you want. You want to read the, I'm going to bless you beyond this. I'm going to, give you an inheritance for you and generations and the next generations. But I now know that don't just read what you want to be in you. Read the endurance and read how you have to still go through the, everything basically to get to the blessing, because my whole thing is this. I'm not saying God won't bless us. He will definitely bless us. You know, that's what he does. But his word is more than just that. And I believe, for me, Audrey Lane, you have to make sure you get into making sure he is your firm foundation, because if he bless you, how are you going to utilize it in the right way? Because I ain't gonna lie, God has blessed me before, and I didn't utilize it the right way, because I saw that financial blessing as um basically, when my mom passed, we had a lawsuit against the hospital because it was wrongful death. You know, it was a whole bunch of crazy stuff with it. So I don't even regret any of that. Uh, but like, we have to really stand up and be on top of our health, and especially when it comes to our loved ones, of what we are not going to tolerate, how we're going to go up to the hospital, and don't be saying, oh, I'll go another time, oh, I'm going to go another time, because in our heads we be thinking that, but God has the final word of, yeah, you thought you was going to get up here, but I had to bring my baby home, and you should have been up there. So, you know, I don't even live in the fact of I couldn't been up there, because I got up there at the right time, in the right moment, to be with my mother. And it was weird, because for years I kind of, you know, went into a bad headspace of that, and a bad space of, man, I you know, couldn't have done, I could have done, you know, more with making sure that we were on top of these doctors when it came to my mom's health. Don't you just, you know, because it's not even a culture of African Americans. It's a culture, I believe, financially. If you have money, you get treated totally different. And I'm not saying money is something we need to go out there and seek. But there's a reason of, for me, when I just felt like they could have done more with my mom, other than wanting to either pump full of, oh, let's give you a surgery, let's do this for you, instead of let's find other options. But anyway, I truly know that my relationship with God is based off of the fact of, it takes work. I know now that I can't go to heaven on my mother's coattail. I have to truly, truly have my own personal relationship with him, and not some, you know, I see you in passing. I see you, you know, when I get up with you. You know, I have to make sure I be consistent, but I have to make sure that I ask him, like, God, I need you to break something down to me. I need you to help me, because it's been some trying days for me. And I'm trying to, like, remove myself, because I notice that it's always where it's like I want to have the I effect, the me effect, when it really needs to be where, God, I need you. You need to come into my life, because I am giving you fullness of me. And how about this? Not only about that fullness that I'm giving you, how about, God, I really need you to remove me out of the picture. Even when I feel like I want to give a hand in, I need you to stop me with that. We have to learn that, you know, we don't need to be a part of what's going on with us. And the reason why I say it for me, because I had a hand in me. And I see where it has got me. It got me of a point of keep going back and inflicting the same wounds on me. Difference how I got them, but the same wounds. The same wounds, sorry. Like today, I'm like, Lord, I so much info has been coming to me, Lord. I don't even know what to kind of do in my journal because I wanted to one, I love it that I don't necessarily always write. This is like a journal for me. And I love that, I have already seen a lot of growth in just myself of where it's like, girl, you are talking. Can you believe you actually talking out? You're actually trying to build relationships with people. You are, and not for what people may think, but the relationships that actually are where I can grow in. Because one of the things I will always say, birds of a feather flock together. And that is still true. I am learning that I have to surround myself with other eagles. I don't want to, surround myself with, if you're only meant to fly at a certain altitude, then I have to now go above that. And it brought me back to when I was in school. I've always had friends that were smarter than me. And you know why that was? Because if I needed help, I wanted to be able to get you to help me. And how about this? Challenge me. Challenge me on the fact that if I thought I knew something, it was like, okay, no, let me tell you how you got to break it down like this. And that was one good thing for me. I remember one of the friends I had, he and I, would go back and forth. And I love that about our relationship because it pushed me. So that's why now I'm having where I need friends that is going to push me in an area that if I was trying to tackle it on my own, I will probably buckle down and fold from. So I know with me asking God, put people in my life, God, that can actually challenge me and push me and help me. And a lot of the people that have been doing it, either they go to my church or they don't, and I love the fact that I am open for that growth. Because remember, I said we are sharpeners. So this is a point right now for me. Just like I know I sharpen other people, I love the fact that I'm getting sharpened. And that sharpening thing is going through some stuff because I was having a day of like, oh my goodness, what, 2 3 days ago? I can't remember, but I know that that was something that was going to pass because I didn't want it to be where it would affect me mentally, that I would stay grounded in the woe is me. Because Audrey Lane, aren't you the grow? Aren't you the growing? So you always say it, but then now don't just say it, live it. Practice it in your being of you are to grow in me. Surrounding yourself with the grow in me is an actual good thing because when we do that, these people challenge us, these situations challenge us, and they push us for greatness. I don't want people around me to be like, oh yeah, I had that problem too. You shouldn't do it. No, I want somebody that's gonna say, okay, so what's your next move? So what's your next step? All right, how you gonna go about it now? Let me show you. Let me help you with this. And I had a lady come in today who this lady and I talk and have a really good relationship with. And I see her like once a week. And she said something to me that actually made me like, okay, all right, I'm not going to stop because I have no problem telling anyone now that I am learning to read. That does not, it used to like make me shrink, and I would say not I would do it. Not feeling embarrassed, feeling inadequate, feeling like, wait, girl, you're X amount. years old, you're out of school. How the heck you graduate, but you don't know how to read? You know, I won't blame no system, no school system or any of that, because how about this? It's all individual based where I could have pushed myself. But I am doing that now. And I love that about myself. That it's like, girl, you see where you having a problem and you are actually tackling it. And I don't let, you know, myself getting away with it. So when this lady challenged me with a question of, I think you should start at this level in your reading and progress from there. I'm like, I'm already on it, but I found it so funny because where she thought she may have been insulting me, I'm like, no, I need you to tell me this because you're not going to hurt my feelings because I know that you know better than me. She's a teacher, and how about this? She actually taught over 30 years, but she actually does tutoring and everything now. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I already have one of, a lady who actually helps me with reading too. But we all know when you're in school, you don't have one teacher, we have multitudes of teachers. So I'm getting these ladies to help me. And that's a great thing for me. You know, I had already signed myself up for um, financial classes and everything. But my whole thing with that is you have to make sure that you can read and be knowledgeable in your reading because yes, I would say this. It is an amazing thing for me to see that, girl, you need this. I thought I was at one level and she was like, no, you're not at that level. You're actually, because I was like, okay, maybe I'm like a second, third, or fourth reading grade level. And she was like, no, girl, you're not. And then, so I even thought I was at a fifth, sixth grade level. And it's like, I'm not. I'm like at an eighth, ninth grade level. And just knowing that, it's like, wow, the progression of it. And I want to say, I don't know, because some of my books are above that in reading level. But anyway, the challenge that I love of it is the fact that I'm like, okay, God, I need this. So, let me say, okay, I don't know. I don't know what level it is, but I am reading this book that I think is fifth, sixth, seventh grade. I'm not sure. But I'm going to ask her to test me. That's what I'm going to ask her to do. Okay, but anyway, I am loving that the challenge is on. The challenge is on because I know that there is more to me, and I am embracing the fact that I love being in this challenge moment. I love that it's like I am asking you for you to do this for me, and you are showing up and doing it. You know, literally, I have asked them for like a teacher who can help me with reading. I asked him for someone that can help me in math and finances and everything like that, and he has done it to me. I need you to help me in medical stuff, and he has done that. You know, so I all of these things I'm asking is to gear up. Is he's gearing me up for where he needs me to be. I'm just opening up my mouth and finally saying these things out loud because thinking them in our heads is one thing, but actually speaking them out is another, because we have so much power in our voices. We have so much power in our voices. Do you notice that when you speak up and you speak out, you don't really trip over your words? You can get them right on out. But if you keep things bottled up and keep it in your mind, then that's when your mind start racing and you be trying to muddle through things once your mouth starts going and everything. We have to learn that we have a voice. Let's use them. Use them in a great, productive, positive way. Yes. I don't want to go into wanting to cuss and all of that stuff. I mean, where does it get you? Nowhere. So I'm going to use my voice the way that God has me to use it. And how about this? He's actually increasing my speech. I noticed the difference in it. Thank you, God. We in our, how about I say it like this, because it's really is me. Or your day to day will change. However, you don't change and go back into some ways. You change and go forward. Keep on pressing, girl. You got it. Hmm. It is so wonderful when you sit and actually have like your moments to yourself. So even with everything that's been going on with just life, my life, your life, I noticed that I need to sit more. I love sitting in my chair and actually talking, even to myself at times. You know, talking with God, but talking to myself at times does a lot for me. I am on the, okay, how did I word it? I am on the let's get yourself on this track of not trying to find anything wrong with the fact that you are doing this. Because when I say doing this, doing yourself. Because at one point I'm like, okay, I am, reading God's word and I'm sitting in him, and but I gotta do better. And it was like, no, you are doing. Keep on doing, because the minute that you start short selling yourself, then there comes the enemy that wants to come up and say, oh, well, you ain't do it the 25 minutes you normally do it, so you might as well stop. No, don't short sell yourself. You keep on going, and before you know it, God will increase your time. He will sit you still. He has been sitting me still. He has been grabbing my focus and grabbing my attention to the point that I noticed it. And that's where I have to stop moving. That's when I have to stop. And I will honestly say I thank him for that. I thank him for that. I just said I don't want to just be moving. I want a productive progression moving in him, and not wanting to keep myself busy, because I find out if I keep myself busy, it keeps me off task of what I really need to do, and which is actually doing his work. And one, I want to read more of his word, because what has me is it's so enriched. And what got me is I was reading, I'm in the book of Daniel, but I was flapping to get to it because I have like all of my 3x5 cards and then post-its and all that stuff. But I was trying to get to Daniel and don't have any post-its or anything here, but it opened up for me for Luke 22:39. Then, accompanied by the disciples, Jesus left the upstairs room and went as usual to Mount Olives, to the Mount of Olives. There he told them, "Pray that you will not give into temptation." He walked away about a stone's throw and knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, please take this cup of suffering away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." Then the angel from heaven appeared and strengthened him. He prayed more, okay, let me get the word, fervently. Yep. And fervently, and was in such agony of the spirit that his sweat fell to the ground like great drops of blood. At last he stood up and returned to the disciples, only to find them asleep, exhausted from grief. "Why are you sleeping?" he asked them. All right, don't text me again. "Get up and pray so that you will not give in to temptation." And it's so funny because with all that's kind of going on in my life, I'm finding out that the enemy, he literally wants to throw us off track because, one, if we only knew what, and if we, and how about this, God will slowly reveal things to us. However, when the devil know that we are destined for greatness, because he knows, and then once we know it, it's like where he wants to step in and throw us off track. He wants to distract us with all kinds of things, and I'm finding it out myself because I'm having where things are not necessarily coming up, but like I been learning that not everything is where you have to speak up and say something out. So mind you, my children are, one of my daughters, she lives out on her own, and she is having difficulties at her job. However, she's an adult, and I don't want to go and speak up for her at her job because it's not my place. My place as her mother is to be there and support her and to let her know how to go about just feeling about it, and making sure that she, voices herself out. However, she has to do it in a manner that, is respectful, and she has to do it in a manner of, this is going to pass. This is something that you may be going through right now. However, you don't want to get it where, one, you can't afford for your attitude and everything to cause you to get in some trouble at your workplace. It is very easy to get in a situation, especially when you feel like the person maybe just keep attacking you and attacking you. However, there's places, I mean, there's people who you can also talk to within your job, but it's not my job to go down there and protect her, because how about this? Mom mode for me will always be there, but I have to know enough that mom mode can't be at her workplace. And plus, I want her to learn that there's going to be certain things you have to go through as an adult. You're my child, but you're not a child no more to them. You're an employee. You are a co-worker. So mom can't come up there and say anything. And even though the situation is where this young lady who doesn't care for my daughter, one thing I told her, you probably don't know what is going on with this young lady when she's leaving her job, what she has to deal with. Maybe if you sit and talk with her, you know, you guys, and I'm not saying be friends, but you guys can talk with one another, and you never know what can change from it, what can happen. So I always tell my daughter that, mom got your back. But how about this? Learn that there's going to be some things that you're going to have to go through in life, and you're going to be okay with it. I am learning to keep my mouth closed because I also have to care about how I say things to her, because she will, this child of mine is a literal type child. I mean, if I would say, go ahead and cuss her out and blah blah this, she'd be like, okay, thank you, I was just waiting for you to say it. And sometimes she doesn't even wait for me to say it. It'll be like that. I don't want that for her. I don't want that kind of life for her. You know, what kind of life does that get you? One, you got to talk things out, because we're adults here. And not only are we adults here, it's not good behavior. There are some frustrating moments, but hey, we'll be all fine, because we learn in God's word also how to handle situations. My daughter has a Bible. She does, and I'm gonna have to tell her to definitely go into your book, go into your journal, get all your pens, because she's like me. She loves to write things out down too, and write out what you're going through. Then go into your Bible, and then turn to everything that you wrote out in your journal, and start finding scriptures that can help you deal with it. That's what we have to do. It is so much going on right now with what they're saying, COVID being lifted, and you can go out and there's not so many restrictions. We still will have to restrict ourselves, because this world is changing, and now that there's not a lot of things that keep us indoors and keep us in one area and keep us in our homes, people are out and they're acting a fool. Don't get caught up in no foolish stuff, Audrey Lane. Don't get caught up in it, guys. We can't afford to get caught up in it. I love the fact that, you know, I am by myself now. I don't go too many places. I love the fact that I can be by myself. Because one thing about it is, where I am and where I keep myself situated, I know that. I don't want to go around someone and feel like, you know, a lot of the times, because I am in a different place, I don't get invited places like that, like I used to. And I'm like, I had to. At first, I used to be like, "Well, why are they not inviting me? That's not, right? We good friends or we family and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Well, what do they think, that I'm better than them, or what do they think I'm gonna judge them?" And then finally, I had to get out of my whole head like, it could be with the fact that you just don't need to be there, period, because you're not strong enough to be in that environment for you to actually go there, and you won't want to participate in the things that's going on. Or how about this, you be around there where you may not know how to close your mouth to make people not feel like okay, because you talking so much about the fact that how God is changing you and how he's being in you and how you're growing in the area. One, that is a good thing and they can take heed to it, but then there's also a thing of where, you know, people may not be ready for God to come in their life. Oh, but trust me, he's there. He's there. I take opportunities to be by myself because I don't want to go and get caught up on so much of trying to help someone else and trying to, in my thing, change someone else, that before I know it, I'm back here just deteriorating, just going through it. And that's not selfish. That's self-care for me because I know how I am. I see situations of where I can actually go out, and I see when people ask me and they come around me and they want to know things, then I can sit there. That's the opportunity God wants me to be around. But I don't need to go around the craziness and the foolishness just to show up there for it. For what? Be okay by yourself, guys. I am learning that is a wonderful thing. And one thing I like that it has me where I'm sitting still, it has me focusing more on my children. On my children. I love the fact that my daughter and I, the one who moved out, she and I do daily calls to the point I have to tell her, okay, girl, I'm going to sleep. Don't call me right now. Or my other daughter, I call her my smoochy smoot. I call her a couple of names. You know, whereas though before we were kind of butt heads a lot. Today we were in the car and she was like mad at me for the fact that I was trying to get her attention on some sort of like uh, cash app thing she wanted me to do. And I just was like, okay, well, I'm going to, you can cash app it, you can do it. And as soon as she was like, well, Mom, no, I can't do it right now. You go do it for her. I need the money and everything like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And she was mad at first. And then she was like, okay, I get what you're saying, Mom. It's okay. I love the fact that I can work on my relationships with my children. I have to talk with my oldest son. He lives on his own as well. But it will get there. I know it will. But I love the fact that when he and I sit down and have a talk, I'm more open to the fact that let me hear your point of view. Or you ain't gotta speak up to defend. You don't have to just say emptiness things to him to make him feel validated. If you can't truly speak with your heart, then maybe this is the conversation you guys may want to have later. And it will get there. It will get there. But I don't have to rush it. And I'm not going to rush it. Because God is working on it. I, first of all, am so happy that I actually express emotions now. It kind of used to get to me because I remember it very, 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 yeah. One of our friends passed, and one of the girls who was she's like my sister cousin. We went to the same church with her, and she is boo-hooing and she is crying about, you know, the lady's passing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, are you crying? And I had to go back and apologize to her for that, because just because I didn't have those feelings and emotions don't mean I should have shut her down from her having the emotions and the feelings for her. Now get me now don't get me wrong. I did feel sad, but I I I, I did not have where my emotions were like that. But I wish that I could have had the emotional feel of how I am now then. But no, no. Because the reason why it is, like I said, everything happens for a reason. I actually do feel emotions and stuff now. I love the fact of growth. And it is a challenge every day, guys. I am telling you, it is a challenge. It's like waves, ripples. However, it's progression because I am going up, and I thank God for it. I was telling my therapist yesterday that, man, I thank him so much for him because he's seen how a mess I was back. Let's go to December. I was crying full, and that was a good thing for me because I let out so much emotions that I let a lot of release up out of me to now the things that I was crying over, I don't cry over no more. I see where I now embrace a lot of them things. I embrace the fact of, girl, you are getting your life together. You're not living in fear anymore. You have truly released things up out of you. You let go of doubts. I will say I have some challenges every day where things want to come up, but I know how to literally cast them out of my head. You ever like feel like you are moving, but you're not moving? And I don't even know how to explain it, but I was like, God, I am moving, but then not moving. What is going on? But I had to just stop asking him that because I don't need to know. It, I just need to know that I am coming along more and more, coming along more and more. Because here it is. I was like, but I feel like I'm going back. And as soon as I get this area, I'm going back. And his whole thing is the ripple. It's the ripple. So you're going to go up and down and up and down. But how about y'all? You're moving. You're going. You're doing it. You're not swimming back to dead land. You're progressing forth, and that's what we have to do. It's going to be hard at times, but we got to keep on pushing forward. We got to keep on going, because that uncomfortable thing and the unknowing of the uncomfortable of where you're going to, I want that for myself. We should want that for ourselves. I am sick of the knowing. I know what is going to get me. And for once, I can honestly say, I know that I don't want to go back. I done tried it many ways and still stayed and got back into the same misery. I'm willing to cut off people, places, and things that I don't need to be around and be with. I thank God for growth. How about this? You don't need to go out there and rally for you know attention from people, or people. And when I say rally for attention, it's like, you know, I don't have to go out there to get people to have a conversation with me, because I strike them up off of the fact of people asking me stuff, and we strike into conversations. I don't want to strike up a conversation just because I feel like I need some attention with somebody, or with um, getting knowledge from someone that is not going to be progressive and go into a positive purpose place. And I say that because I was talking with one of my friends today. He had came in, and he's like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on?" And I'm like, "Well, you haven't, been around. I know you've been working. You do all, like, he owns a couple different, like, contractor things and all of that stuff." And you know, he's asking me, like, "Oh, I need you to go and do some stuff for me." And then this other person comes up, and I've always gotten this, and I've been getting this, like, where, like, "Oh, you talk to him, but you won't talk to me." I don't like to talk with, and especially males, even though a lot of my friends are males, I will say that. Um, I see you come, I smell you coming. It's a stench that's on you that I don't want on me, nowhere near me. And how about this? You stay exactly where you are, because I don't want any of that coming on to me. There's a difference in conversation that I have with my friend versus a conversation of where, just because you are laughable and bubbly and everything like that, and that's how I am, it's just something about that that I just get that sense that, no, I don't want any part of it. Now, I can do my job, and I can do it with, kindness and sweetness and all of that stuff, but I don't get into personal info with it, and especially with males. Especially with males. I have a good male friend that I can talk to. I call him my bro. He like my bro. I can talk to him about things. And how about this? There's no judgment or any of that. If you want to say what goes on, there's a lot of teaching tools in it. Because sometimes I don't like what he say. I don't like what he say. He probably don't like what I say sometimes, but I guess if it's like that, then yeah, we probably don't pay each other no attention when it comes to that, but we go on and do it. So I am enjoying being by myself. That's a challenge for me, but it's growth in it. It's growth in us being by ourselves, because we're not really by ourselves. We definitely have God in our lives. We have to really use him and be in purpose with him and actually be like, you know what, God, the ripple and the ruffles that I'm going through, the ups and downs, I thank you so much because, like I said, I feel like I'm moving, but they're not moving. I really want to say this because he has me. He's doing the movement for me. And that's powerful. So if you ask me this, do I love the change? If I'm being honest, some days I don't know what's going on. I can't really say I don't. I do. So a lot of the days is I say, I don't know what's going on, God. I don't know what's going on. But I know you have me. And that right there is comforting. That right there I am grateful for. So I love you guys so much. I thank you guys for following me on my journal journey. My Just Be Audrey Elaine. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit that bell so you can be notified of when. I really need to say what this is going to be. Is it going to be a journal or what? But it is like it's motivating me. I love the fact that I'm doing this, that I am talking out, I am voicing. I have a voice. You have a voice. And oh, so yesterday I had went to go to take my daughter to work, and then I had stopped at a gas station to get gas. Now my daughter works at a store, but this store at the same store, but they don't have a gas station at where she is, so I had to go around the corner to it. And this guy was standing outside, and he held the door for me, and he asked me for some money, and I said, well, I don't have money, and I didn't have money on me, but I will get you something to eat. So he was like, no, I don't want anything to eat. It's just hot outside. Can you get me some Gatorade? So I got him some Gatorade, which was amazing and wonderful. But I go to give it to him, and I'm like laughing and joking and talking with him. And he says to me, thank you for seeing me. And I said, it stopped me in my tracks. Because this is what I always say to us. We are seen. We are heard. And I told him instantly what I tell myself and you guys. Oh, you are someone. You're loved. You better love yourself and love others. You are someone. We are someone. So this gentleman, he has no clue how much he touched and blessed me. For me to just be like, you know what? We got to help each other with our identities of knowing that we are someone. If we truly, truly ask God to reveal ourselves to ourselves, He's going to reveal to you that you are someone. More importantly, before anyone else sees you, He sees you. He knows you. He knows every bit and part of you. We got to make sure we love on ourselves and love ourselves first. And that's how we can go out and love everyone. And for me, even loving my enemies. And I know I don't just say that to say it. At first, I was like, oh, yeah, I love them. I wouldn't even say I said that at first. I've always either didn't say anything or just didn't care. But now, it's like I love them. And I ask God that He works with them. I always say, and you guys can say it too, bless them, change me. So whoever that may be, because a lot of the times it could be in our head. We got to get out of our own head. Now, someone who has purposely, knowingly done something, that's where I still use that same prayer. Bless them, change me. Bless them, change me. And truly mean it. Don't walk around with that baggage. You trust me. You can use your arms a whole lot more. Let go of them bags. Let go of them. It's holding you down. Love is the number one commandment for me. Love yourself and love others. Love God. He's last, but he's first. And only last in that statement. But yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. I love God. I do. Truly, because he wants me. He sees me. I'm included. Okay, God, what is it you need me to do? What is it you need me to do? So you are seen. You are loved. You are someone, Audrey Elaine. And the same goes to you guys. You're seen. You're loved. You are someone. Let's go out there and be the best what your name is. Thank you guys for tuning in and subscribing to Just Be Audrey Elaine. Make sure you hit that bell for when a video is posted for you guys. Here we go. You know I love you. You know I love you. I love myself. And you know I love God. More importantly, I love God. I love God. He's all up in us, guys. He's all up in us. You guys have a good evening. I didn't say the date, but it is June 29th, 2021, Tuesday. And I normally do that at the beginning, but yeah, what are you gonna do? You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Make sure you hug and love on yourself, hug and love on someone, and love on your enemy. And not for spitefulness, not to be mean. Love them. Ask God to bless them, change you. Bless them, change you. Come on, you got it in you. Trust me, you'll live a whole peaceful life off of it. A whole peaceful. When I tell you peace that surpasses all understanding, yeah, it's in us. We gotta let go and love. You guys stay blessed. Have a wonderful evening, my daughter. Oh Lord. And I will be back on with you guys tomorrow. Bye now.